To say that the Indian cricket team's loss to West Indies in the T20I series has gone down badly with Indian cricket fans would be something of an understatement. Clearly, there are a lot of people who are not very happy with not just the direction that this new look team are taking, but also with the captaincy, also with the kind of cricket that was played. There was a lot of things that left a lot of people unhappy. Obviously, this also being the first time in 6 years that India have lost a series to the West Indies across any format when you look back at it, also makes this a very bitter pill to swallow, because one of the major things that we always used to say about the Indian team was that they were at best bilateral kings. They were good in bilateral series but would end up often falling short in ICC tournaments, a theme that has been the case for over 10 years now. Unfortunately, in recent times, India have also ended up slipping up in bilateral series as well, and that has of course been due to, of course, workload management and the rest and rotation policy the board takes, as well as the fact that in T20s you've been looking to start afresh, build a new team, get in a new template, all of those things. Unfortunately, the reaction to the series loss has, as I said, not been a kind one. And in this case, what we'll do is we'll go over the reactions of some former players as well as experts who are currently doing commentary for a variety of channels, and they've all said a number of things really when it comes down to what it is or where it is they felt India went wrong. So we'll start off with Venkatesh Prasad, who took to Twitter to actually post a series of scathing attacks on the Indian team. He started off by saying that India has been a very ordinary limited oversight for some time now. They have been humbled by a West Indies side that failed to qualify for the T20 World Cup a few months back. We are also lost to Bangladesh in the ODI series. Hope they introspect instead of making silly statements. Thereafter, he also, in response to a fan, the fan said that, what are your views on the T20 captain and team management? Venkatesh Prasad co-tweeted that, replied with saying, they are responsible for the debacle and need to be accountable. Process and such words are misused now. MS Dhoni meant it. Guys now just use the word. There is no consistency in selection, random stuff happening too much. And in fact, he further went on to say that India needs to improve their skill set. There is a hunger and intensity deficiency, and often the captain looked clueless. Bowlers can't bat and batsmen can't bowl. It's important to not look for yes men and be blinded because someone is your favorite player, but look at the larger good. Of course, his reaction wasn't the only such one that came in. There's Irfan Pathan also, who took a rather more muted reaction, you could say, because he simply said, congratulations to the West Indies team on a well-deserved series win. Team India must reflect on this defeat, as losing to a lower ranked team is indeed worrisome. Now let's go over what it was that Venkatesh Prasad said one by one. He said that there seemed to be a lack of let's say hunger and desire from the team. He also criticized the shortcomings of some of the players. Said that especially he was very hard on Hardik Pandya. He said the captain looked clueless, and truth be told, Pandya himself has come in for a lot of criticism, not just from Venkatesh Prasad, but as we'll go on in this video, you'll see there were others also who were critical not just of his batting form but also of the way that he has been captaining the team. And that was a major concern, because it's one thing to have young team, it's one thing to have a new look template, and if you are able to see some kind of genuine progress, there will often be concessions made. However, that genuine progress wasn't seen, and that is why some more criticism ended up coming their way. First, you had former India international Abhinav Mukund, who was very critical of the way the bowling changes were made in the final T20I. He said that I would have not changed things too much from the fourth T20I. I think India were worried about the bad weather cutting 5 overs of play. Now, Mukund was of course talking about the fact that you were at one moment trying a spinner you tried Akshar, you tried Yuzi in the power play as well. Then sometimes you were going back to your pacers. So it was a bit muddled in terms of the decision making. It wasn't very stable, strong, solid, whatever you want to call it. And he's saying that they probably were spooked by the rain, which to be fair did end up interrupting play not once, twice, but thrice throughout. Saying, but you wouldn't have changed your tactics regardless, because they seemed a little too worried by the weather than they were on focusing on their plans, and that is what ended up costing them. That, of course, direct indictment of Pandya, because again, he was the one at the end of the day with whom the buck stops when it comes to picking who chooses to bowl when and making stuff like team changes, fielding changes, and the like. All that stops with him. But what about even his own form? Wasim Jafar didn't really have much good to say about what it is that Pandya's batting has looked like. He's saying that we can't say that this is the same free-flowing Hardik Pandya who comes in and strikes it sweetly. That doesn't mean hitting sixes off the bat, but striking it nicely and rotating the strike. And truth be told, this was something we saw with Pandya a lot yesterday. He, in fact, if his first 16 balls that he'd played before there was a brief rain interruption, he'd only scored 8 runs, which of course means that he was operating at a strike rate of 50. Hardly ideal when you're talking about a new template and playing in a new way, and you are playing exactly like the players who have previously played like that, who are now no longer in the scheme of things. So definitely plenty of things to worry about in that regard. And of course, the Indian team, for them, the caravan does in fact roll on, because you'll now have an even newer look Indian team who will be playing a 3-match T20I series against Ireland. So you're going to be testing out more players. There's going to be more experimentation. You're potentially looking to build your talent pool for the 2024 T20 World Cup, which at this point in time really is just very few months away. So it's not really that far off right now. And truth be told, it really isn't a good time when you're looking at Indian cricket, because despite the fact that they're clearly trying to build out a few new things, it's just been very, very problematic, because there are not just teething problems but also a recurrence of problems that you have seen in the past, and that's never a good sign. Because if you're trying to make a clean break and saying that this is a fresh start and you end up making the same mistakes, then maybe it is that much wanted word that Indian cricketers use, that is the processes, that are probably not right. Because the thing with sticking to processes and being consistent means that if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you might fail sometimes, but more often than not, you will be put in a position to succeed. However, the Indian team hasn't been able to do that in quite a while, especially if the benchmark is ICC tournaments, where more often than not, they've just fallen short. What is your take though on this entire matter when it comes to the Indian team, as well as how it is they've been faring in recent times? You guys can let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTech app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos that we've done. But for now, from my side, it's goodbye.